If you work for a painting company and you're trying to decide which software is the best software to run your painting business, I've got 10 reasons why I think Airtable is something that you should consider for your painting business. So if that's of interest, stick around and we'll dive into this topic. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Chris. I'm the owner of Boolean Automation, where we are here to free you up to do what you love. We work with painting businesses all across the country, and we create content, do consulting, help with implementation, but we are here to serve painting businesses. I was the marketing director for a painting company for 3 years and realized this massive need in the technology space and integrating softwares together. The average painting company has 7 to 9 applications, and none of them talk to each other out of the box. We get them talking, and when we do, magic happens. It saves tons of time, eliminates data entry, increases reporting, and makes it easier for you to scale your painting business. But don't take my word for it. Here's a brief testimonial from one of our customers that went through our automation consulting and implementation. So check that out, and then we'll get back to this video.
Working with Boolean Automation, we were hoping initially that we would be able to really reduce overhead, but that really didn't wind up being the case. What we found with the automation is that we've been able to grow without adding overhead. So what I'm really feeling like is that as we were struggling to keep up with everything, all of the tasks that we've automated before, we were always projecting how much more staff are we going to have. And at this point, we've grown. I think just last year alone, we grew 10%, and not a peep out of anybody saying we're overtaxed, we're over busy, and we can't keep up. So depending on where you're at in your business, I feel like if you're on a growth track, if you're trying to figure out how you manage and make things work, signing up with these guys can definitely help to keep that additional overhead component out of the conversation of how do we grow. I feel like we're not searching for more staff. You have to look and say, 2 years ago at 20% smaller size and 20% less call volume, presumably, we were struggling to keep up. And now you add 20% and everybody's having leisurely conversations in the office right now. So, I do think that's in large part to the automation.
Airtable. If you have not heard of Airtable, it's something you should check out. First thing right out of the gate, everyone's always talking about cost and how much things cost. This is a massively flexible and scalable tool. This team plan is great for many, like if you're under $2 million, you can do a lot with this. It's $20 per month per seat. There's no contracts. There's no anything. It's very customized. I'm going to get in and show you an app that we have built out for one of our clients. So first thing I want to say is that reason number one, centralized data. So in today's world, with all the tech and the customized apps that are getting built, it is absolutely critical that you have one application that is the single source of truth for all the data in your business. Airtable is the tool that has the ability to be that database. You can have 500 properties on one project if you want, and all the data can live in one place, which leads to much more powerful reporting, more efficient job costing, and just eliminate the unnecessary need for copying or grabbing CSV files from 4 different apps and trying to consolidate them into Excel. Reason number two, it is extremely scalable. This is $20 a month. You could literally buy a seat for yourself, for your office admin, project manager. You can start using this massively powerful tool for $20 a month. And then as you grow, you just add people in. If you exceed the record limits of 50,000, you can bump up to the business plan, and it's only $45 a month. So I love that this is something that's super easy. There's not a barrier to entry as far as cost goes for the smaller companies, but massive companies, enterprise, Fortune 500 companies use Airtable to run their businesses. Reason number three is seamless integrations. Airtable has amazing integrations out of the box. They also integrate with Make and Zapier, which are two of my favorite automation tools. And with those two integrations, you can practically integrate with any app that you want. And that's massively powerful for a tool that you're going to have as a single source of truth. It has to be able to talk well to other apps. The fourth reason I think this is such a powerful tool is because of the customization. You can literally tailor this to exactly the way that you want to run your business. So depending upon how you run your business, you might use best practices from other painting companies, but I have yet to find a painting company that enjoys or wants to just do what someone else does or fit to the way that a given app is built. When you use Airtable, you have the ability to customize exactly how you want to invoice, the amount you want to invoice, when you want to follow up with people, what processes you want to automate, what you want to give people in your business access to. If you want to give clients access to certain information, you can do that. You can literally control everything and customize it to work the exact way that you want. The other thing is role-based access. So I'm going to show you right here. This is inside of a Airtable base that I created for a client, and they have this interface feature. This is built into Airtable where I can create a view for my job leaders or my operations manager, and I can show the operations manager exactly what they need to see in order to do their job. So they don't need to see all the other, an employee in the business that is an operations manager doesn't need to see the underlying data. They just need to be able to have the view that's going to allow them to do the job that they want very efficiently. I can toggle between jobs here. And then from the sales perspective, sometimes sales likes to get in and see how far booked out are we? You can literally have a calendar view that does exactly what you want there. Another thing that is super powerful is that because Airtable is so connected and it's literally just a no-code database tool, you can layer tools like Softer or Stacker on top of it and literally build a custom app for your business. So I mean, literally, I'll show you on my phone right here. I have an application for the client that is branded for their business that their crew leaders can log into and see the projects that are relevant to them in their or to their business. So, and this is literally, it's an app on your phone. It says your logo, you click into it, and all your crew leaders can see the information that they need to see for them to do the job that they need to do. And when they edit information in that app, it all goes directly back and updates the core data, the raw data in the database tool that is Airtable. The other thing that I think is super powerful is the end-to-end project management. So underneath this, if we look at the data, we have created in this particular client case, we have created a projects table, and each one of these tables you can think of as its own database of items. And in this projects table, for example, I have over, I'm not even sure how many we have in here, 150 properties in this one base. That might seem super overwhelming, but and you might even look at this and say, this just looks like Excel. What's the big deal? But the thing that's so powerful about this is that you can literally dump in every single data point about a given project and put it in one place so that all of the data, if you ever need to run a report or filter the data in certain ways, it's all coming from one single source of truth. But then again, because of the interfaces that Airtable has, I can now edit projects or properties inside of the interface as like an employee that has limited view, and I don't have to deal with all of the data that's underneath it that's fueling and making all this work. All right, number 8, customer data input. This is an absolute game changer. Occasionally, when you're managing projects, there's information that you need to get from customers. So frequently in other tools, you're having them fill out a type form or a Google form and collecting information from them, such as the project or pre-project color information form or access codes, things like that. And with Airtable, because you have an underlying database that manages everything in that project, I can create a custom form like this. So I have this fill out form, and they open this up. And the power of this is that the customer is like all the information that we had in their project on them already. So here's my information, Chris Kiefer. I'm not showing my phone and email right now, but that would autofill as well. And so I can come in and let's do this, 221-3490. So I fill out my information. The project, as they say, like, have you already communicated? Yes, I have. Number of colors. I'm going to have one color. If I say 2 colors, then there's going to be an option for more colors. I can say, yep, I understand. Okay. This one's going to be white. This is going to be bathroom. This one's going to be applied to walls. Is the sheen? Leave it to the pros. Name and color, we're going to do blue. And this is going to be in the bedroom, and walls, ceilings, and leave it to you. So then we keep going through here. I can say, yep, you get the idea. I'm going to fill out the rest of this pretty quickly. Blah, 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 whatever. And then all the information that I put in here, gate code is 1234. And you'll see as soon as I check all these, I can even have the customer sign saying I acknowledge that this is what I'm submitting. So when they submit the form, they go back to the base here, and under this Chris Kiefer project, you can see all the information that they just put on the form has now been updated in the actual database. And the thing I want to keep coming back to is that the crews or your employees are not interacting with the data through this database. I'm just showing you that the raw data is here. You build interfaces on top of the database that your crews use. So if I'm a job leader, I can only show the job leader, I should be able to show the job leader only the stuff that's relevant to them. So for example, if I go to the Chris Kiefer project, which is the one I just filled out, whoops, if I can spell my last name, and I click on Chris Kiefer, I can come down here to the color form responses, and you can see that I can go in and all the information that I just filled out, the crew can now see. So again, depending upon what you need the given employee to do, you can customize that. But I can't overstate enough the value of having customers directly input data into your system, your management system, so you can say, hey, fill this out, or hey, sign this document. And immediately the document is, once they e-sign it, it's filled into the thing here. So for example, another common example with customer input is signatures on AWOs. So I've got a bunch of AWOs that are either processed or accepted or whatever, and I can send an AWO to a client. And then as soon as they sign that AWO, the signed version of the contract is added to the base here, so that we have record or proof that they knew that there was going to be an additional cost for some work. So customer data input is absolutely huge in Airtable. And you can go through many different things, I'm sure, of like, what else would it be nice to have the customer tell us about and have that automatically update inside of Airtable. The ninth thing is mobile accessibility of data. So my recommendation to companies is always to create a view or an interface specifically for a crew leader that's going to be exactly what they need to see and nothing more, so that they can do their work efficiently. So you could even have like the view that shows all the pre-job walk information, or when they're on a project, or a view of all the projects that they're doing that week. You can simplify it down so that from a mobile device, they see only the information that's relevant to their role and the stage that the project is in at that time. The last one is the automation. So the other thing that people don't realize is in Google Sheets, for example, you can run Google scripts. And if you're a JavaScript person, you can do that. In Airtable, you don't have to be a coder or a developer to actually build out automations. You can do things like what we have here are some example ones is when a new AWO is submitted, we want to automatically create a PDF that we then send to the customer. So you can see in here that there are some different things that you can have set up. So it's like when a record matches certain conditions, I want to run a script, and then I want to find a record, and then I want to update a record. And so all of this stuff is much, much easier for a non-developer to automate and make processes more efficient. So for example, common ones would be when a job is completed, I want to automatically invoice the client. Or when a job is completed, we want to ask them for a review. Or when a crew leader marks the job as touch-up requested, it automatically generates a record in our touch-up database. Whatever it is, if you define the process, you can likely automate it inside of Airtable. And the most amazing part that you can't do in Google Sheets is that every row in Airtable has a record ID. So you can go reference a particular record and a particular column for any piece of information inside of your Airtable base. So there you have it, 10 features in Airtable that I think are game changers for painting companies. Hopefully this was valuable. If you're a painter, please like and subscribe to this channel. We put out content just for you on how to automate your painting business. I'd love to know in the comments down below, which feature do you want to know more about? Would you like us to create content around a particular thing to see what else is possible? This was a super high level overview of the aspects of Airtable that I think are really beneficial. Obviously, there's so much to talk about here that it's hard to pack it all into a 10 or 15 minute video. So if you'd like to chat more, you can find our information in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Chris from Boolean, where we free you up to do what you love.